This year, we've changed a few things. We decided to make the Covellite Theater our flagship location, and so our opening and closing night festivities will all be held at the Covellite. And so we want to fill that opening night. We've got a film that we think is really important. It's about Montana. It premiered at Sundance. It's called Dark Money. It's about the sort of constitutional dilemma between the state constitution reconciling with the Citizens United decision on the federal level in the state of Montana. And it really looks at the last election cycle, and it also looks at independent news and political reporting in a time when so many newspapers are getting bought up, and then that particular division is getting defunded. So it follows the founder of the Montana Free Press, who started it after he was let go from the newspaper in Helena. He was the reporter covering the State House, and he was not replaced. So he felt like it was his duty as a journalist to fill that need for the citizens of the state of Montana. And so this sort of also talks about that. So that's the opening night film. We're really, really proud and excited to have that. That will be free to the public. And it's sponsored by KBM. Then the next day, we've got a lot of films that the filmmakers will be here. Built by Zidell. That filmmaker, David B., will be here. That's our first film at the Covellite on Thursday. It's a film about environmental reclamation along the Willamette River in downtown Portland. They took a place that used to be a scrapyard, which would take apart naval ships and scrap all the metal, and eventually they started to build barges there, and they got out of that business and into the condo business. And so this sort of looks at that reclamation project, and also the history of that industry as well. Then we're going to have No Greater Love. It's going to play at 3 o'clock. Dick Mady will be there. He filmed it. So that was the play that we put on at the Motherlode last summer about the Granite Mountain fire disaster. It's a total Butte production and Western Montana production. And so we're going to show that at 3 p.m. on Thursday at the Covellite Theater. And then Curry Western is a film that was a collaboration between filmmakers in the UK and filmmakers in India. It's kind of a romantic comedy. It's a lot of fun. That's going to go off at 6 p.m. Our shorts are world class this year. There's not a film that we're playing that's a short film that there's really not a film that we're playing that I'm not just absolutely excited about showing to the people who are going to be members of our audience. We'll have live music each and every night with after parties. Opening night, the after party will start after the film around 10:15, and Window Business, which is a band out of Portland, is going to be playing. And then Thursday night, we're really excited because we're going to have the original Mine Yard, and we're partnering with the Craft Brew Week that Jason Hands is putting on that week, and we're going to have a beer garden, and then we'll have live music, and then we'll play a shorts block, and then we're going to play a documentary feature, Will Work for Views, the Lo-Fi Life of Weird Paul. Now that was actually directed by Eric Michael Schrader and
Joseph Litziner.
Who collaborated on the Zulu Summer Project. So
Did you say that title again, Brian? I didn't hear what you said.
Will Work for Views, the Lo-Fi Life of Weird Paul. So Weird Paul was the first video blogger ever.
Oh.
He did it back in the days when he was doing it to a VHS and then copying it over, and he still has this very archaic process. He's a very, very interesting character, and this really delves into his life and his just goals and dreams and journey, because he's an interesting guy to hang out with. And then the after party that night is going to be at the Silver Dollar Saloon. And who we got playing that night?
Weird Paul.
We've got Weird
And
Paul.
Slacker.
Yeah, so he's actually a musician as well as a video blogger, as well as like
Oh.
several other things that he does. He's really interesting. And then we'll have Slacker and Rob McClain playing after that into the night, which should be a lot of fun.